Now watch this. Delivered means set free or liberated from some form of restriction. Some form of restriction. There cannot be deliverance unless you have been restricted by something. Being set free means that there has to have been some type of bondage, or you have to have been bound in some shape, form, or fashion. Deliverance only comes when bondage has occurred. Make sure you get that. When you say, I have been delivered, my question is, from what? Because before you can be delivered from something, there has to be an acknowledgement of bondage. That's good teaching right there. Before I can say I am delivered. See, most people like the deliverance part of it because I get attention from that. But nobody wants to admit the thing that I got delivered from. Oh, Jesus. All the praise and went out the door. You have to admit something that you have been bound with before you can claim deliverance over it. You can't claim victory without a fight. When you say you got the victory, I'm praising because I got the victory. Victory means that I have won because I have fought something. Is there anybody in here know that you have been delivered and don't mind telling somebody, it may not be the masses, but don't mind telling somebody what I've been delivered from? See, sometimes you have to hear yourself say, I was in this, and I was in that, and I was in that. So, listen. See, there's a time when private deliverance won't work. Private deliverance means I got delivered and didn't nobody know that I was in anything. And when nobody knows, that means that you leave the door wide open for the absence of accountability. Which means that there's a door, a possibility, a crack in the wall that thing can either come back and get me or I can go back and pick it up. Now I can't get nobody to say amen to that. And sometimes you just got to let somebody know that see, sometimes you ain't got to say that you've been delivered from that. All you got to do is dance with somebody who said it out public. That's some help right there. See, here's the problem. I believe, I can't remember who, somebody said it during the week. Sometimes we got to be real careful, because when we say God has delivered us from something, we got to be real careful how we sit down on what somebody else is actively or openly saying that they got delivered from. You got to be careful how you look at them strange, because if God truly has delivered you from them, you just as happy for them because you remember how much hell that thing put you in. And you ought to be, if nobody else get up and dance with them, if nobody else get up and celebrate with them, if nobody else get up and shout with them, you ought to get your little habit up and get right there beside them. And every step saying, baby, I remember. Baby, I was in it too. Baby, I know how you feel. I know what you went through. Come on, baby, you can make it. Come on, baby, you can make it. Look at me, look at me, look at me. Do I have any delivered people in the house showing up? Set free, liberated from restriction. But ladies and gentlemen, I gotta warn you, if I don't give you the warning, I didn't do my job this morning. If you're going to be one that will represent, like the three Hebrew boys did, somebody say represent. Somewhere between blessed and delivered, things usually get real bad. Let me say that again. Somewhere between blessed and delivered, things usually get real bad. Bad. Somebody say bad. Bad is something that is not hoped for nor desired. It is unpleasant. It is unwelcome. They didn't hope for what happened. It happened, watch this, because they stood. God, I ain't got time to work this like I want it. Let me say that again. They didn't ask for this to happen. They didn't want this to happen. They didn't ask for the fiery furnace. The furnace happened because they stood. Let me say that again, because I don't think about it. It happened because they stood. Everybody else was going down, but they decided to stand. Is there anybody in this room that says everybody else can fall for that stuff, but I'm going to stand? Look at somebody and tell them, just stand, baby. Just stand. Just stand. Just stand. Just stand. Just stand. Just stand. Now, you may or may not be having a bad day with a fiery furnace situation, but there are many of us in this room today that know exactly what it means to have a real bad day. Does anybody know what it means to have a bad day? I'm talking about a sure enough bad day. First of all, you get up in the morning and you're late. Your alarm clock didn't go off. Then when you get up, you step out the bed and miss the step and twist your ankle. And now you're limping in the bathroom. You limp in the bathroom and you sit down on the toilet and figure out you ain't got no tissue. And now when you figure out you ain't got no tissue, you're trying to figure out how you're going to work this out. So now you start running water in the tub and you're reaching over and... oh, I can't get no help right here. And some kind of way you figure that situation out and you get in there and you figure out, ladies, you ain't got no makeup. You ain't got no makeup, and then you're reaching for the wig you thought you had and that was not there. You know you didn't go to the hairdresser because you said I could just wear my wig one more day. And somehow you figure that situation out, only to go in the kitchen to get your favorite cup of coffee and you ain't got none. Then you get out in the car, already know you're late. You forgot to charge your phone. Your phone at home is cut off. So now you're trying to figure out how I'm going to let the job know that I'm going to be late. You go out, try to start the car, and the battery's dead. Oh, I'm talking about a real bad day. Is there anybody here know what it means to have a real bad day? If you manage to get the car started, it don't have much gas in it, so you limp to the gas station only to see that you forgot your purse. Oh, I'm talking about a real bad day. I ain't got no real people in it. I'm talking about a real bad day. You don't know. Now, I said my subtopic is from bad to bad, but somebody know what it means to go from bad to worse. Is there anybody here know what it means to go from bad to worse? And then you make up in your mind, I'm going to get to work some kind of way. And you start walking to work and you started out in pumps, but when you got there, your pumps is sandals. And when... I'm talking about a bad day, a bad day. Some of us know what it means to have a real bad day. We are well acquainted with a bad day. We didn't ask for it. It just happened. A bad day. Somebody say a bad day. Some of us just woke up in the morning one day and found ourselves bitter and depressed. Somebody say a bad day. Beaten and defeated, broken and dysfunctional, busted and disgusted, bleeding and damaged, buried and disgusted, barren and discouraged, bound and degraded. A bad day. For some of us, it's not just a day. Some of us have been having a bad life. Is anybody here know what it means to just have a bad life? It's almost like at every turn, life offered me a bad situation. It's just a bad situation. Boy, I wish I had time to run down. Oh God, I wish I had some time. See. Here's where church comes in, because at some point in time, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to learn that if we're really going to get delivered, that means that pretense has to be set aside, and real has to come in. Because what you show to people, you're actually showing to God. When if we come in and set pretense aside, we show God the real. Doesn't matter whether people see the real or not. Because when you have a real bad situation going on in your life, you really don't care whether people see the real or not. Oh, I wish I had some help right there. Touch your neighbor and say, I really don't care if you see the real. See, here's my concern. My concern is most today's Christians are so concerned of how people view them and how people see them. But beloved, it does not matter how people see you. It only matters how God sees you. And when God sees that you are willing to come in and set pretense aside. Notice I got a hand in front of my face. Somebody say a mask. I set pretense aside and show God the real. This is why worship is so important. Can I help y'all out with something? This is why you have to make sure that you get yourself positionally in the right place in church so that you have no distractive restrictions to your worship. Because when you worship God, you don't want to be distracted by what you see through your peripheral. That means that if you got to come to the front row so that you don't see anybody looking at you strange, because you got to take something off so that God can see it all. Okay, let me help y'all out. I'm finna step off a little bit. I'm gonna come back to that. Let me step off a little bit. This is, watch this. This lady comes to Jesus in front of everybody who had a bad life. She broke her alabaster box, and the fragrance came out through brokenness. Worship came out through brokenness. She didn't unscrew the cap and pour it off. She said, I've been going through so much hell, I just got to break this situation. Is there anybody in here want to come in and just worship God? I'm talking about worship God. Put a demand on the atmosphere and just start worshiping God. Because when you worship God, you take the pretense and set it aside and say, I'll come back to being reverend somebody later. I'll come back to being deacon somebody later. I'll come back to be mission somebody later. I'll come back to being that. But right now, I got to let God know, God, I'm hurting. God, I'm broken. God, I'm defeated. God, I'm bitter. I'm discouraged. I'm going through something, and I need you to help me with my bad.